Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN, and today we've got Odegaard clapping back at Tony Adams, questioning him as a captain. Before we get into that, we've got my guy Lewis. What you saying, bro?
Yo, I'm good, bro. I'm good. You already know life's well and everything. Chelsea's cooking, unbeaten. Day 59 of our reign as world champions. You already know. Shouts to chat, and it's been good to have a break. It's been good to just take a little bit of time to just unwind a little bit. It's the only good part of these international breaks, because everything else is just boring and dragging, but it does give you some time to yourself, which I can't lie. It's nice to have, because this has been a very busy summer, especially with the World Cup. There's never been so much club action for me as a Chelsea fan during a summer on YouTube ever. So I've needed this time. I want front. It's good to be back on here. Always good to link up. You already know what it is. And yeah, let's get into it.
Nah, big up, man. Listen, let's get into this Odegaard stuff, and then we'll get into some Chelsea news, because it'll be refreshing not to talk about Arsenal all the time. But I don't know if you heard as a Chelsea fan, but I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Tony Adams came out and said that the captaincy shouldn't be given to Odegaard, it should be given to Declan Rice, and how he'd be a lot better as a captain. And Odegaard's come out and had his say about the claims by Tony Adams. He said, I don't care that much of what Tony Adams said. Everyone is allowed to have their own opinion and say what they want. I live with that. You can't care what everyone says. There's a lot of positive and negative things that can affect me. It's important to just block it out. I've done it my whole career. As a Chelsea fan, what would you make of what Tony Adams, his criticism as Odegaard as a captain and preferring Declan Rice? And what would you make of Odegaard's response to it?
See, there's part of me that understands it, where it's like you're blocking out the negative stuff and everything. But I get that from maybe a fan perspective. Fans are abusing you and everything, yeah. It is a sign of a good mentality to be able to block that out. But if it's Tony Adams, who's an ex-Arsenal legend, very knowledgeable in the game, didn't even say anything, because I remember parts of what he said, not just about Odegaard, but about Arteta as well. And one of the things I noticed in what he was saying and the way he was saying it was that he was trying not to be disrespectful. He was trying to just be as honest as possible and as constructive as possible, while being true to what he really thinks and not just lying or waffling. So I wouldn't really block that out. If anything, if I was in Odegaard's shoes, I'd be pushing to speak to Tony Adams personally, because I just want to get inside of his head a little bit, pause, to just figure out what his mindset's like. Because if he doesn't think you're the right captain for Arsenal Football Club, if I was in his shoes, I'd want to know what I'm missing. Or I want to know what I could learn from a Tony Adams and try and implement that in my game. So I don't really think he should be blocking that out. Obviously, it's up to him what he does, but I don't think he should be blocking that out. He should, Tony Adams would be the sort of person that you'd rather listen to. It'd be fans that you maybe would rather block out.
I hear that, man. Big up to Shane and Views for the raid. Big up to everyone that's joined from that channel as well. Big up to both my guys. Make sure you subscribe to View Sport and Shane Guna. I agree, bro. Do you know what it is? Okay, cool. You want to block out the fans to a degree? Okay, fine, whatever. But your fellow professional that's literally got accolades that you don't possess, I don't really understand it. That's like being at uni and you need to get your degree, but you're telling the professor, listen, don't chat to me about what I need to do for the exam. The professor's been there, done that. Do you know what I mean? Would you tell the professor?
That sounds dumb already, bro. And that's why I think he's let his ego get in the way a little bit. And that's naturally going to happen when you're a footballer at the elite level, because you've probably been told yes how many times in your life. You never really have to push for anything. You get a lot handed to you. Especially, I think Odegaard literally got the armband handed to him. When I look at that Arsenal side that Arteta was building, I would have never guessed it would have been him that you're giving the armband to. Even now, it seems weird that he's your captain, because he doesn't really give off the vibe of a captain. When you were saying Declan Rice, Rice does give off the vibe of a captain. He does seem like he's got more leadership skills. He does seem a lot more vocal when he's on the pitch. He's lifted trophies with an ex-club as captain before, so he has experience in the role. I get that. Arteta, like I look at Odegaard, I don't really see him as a captain either. But when you're a footballer at that level and you've been given that much at that sort of an age, you're gonna like build up walls very quickly because you've never really been told no or criticized like that from someone at that level.
That's what I'm saying. I don't really understand the arrogance of Odegaard, because you're not leading vocally. You're not being a leader in terms of performances. He's been atrocious for the last 2 years. And it's like, oh, you don't want to take any of the criticism. Like, criticism is good. Criticism is good. It's needed for people to tell you where you're going wrong so you can improve. If you're never being told what... The same, like, even with YouTube, like, you know, I'm always... People like you that have been in the game for a lot longer, or Lee, they'll always give me tips and say, yo, I think you should do this, or I think you should change that up. I think you should do more of this, or I think you should incorporate. I think anybody within a field that has achieved more than you, you should always be open ears to try and adapt. And you may not take everything, but you may take about 20% of what what's helped them be successful. I don't understand this this new approach of criticism is bad. Criticism is very good. Criticism lets you see things from a different perspective as well. He should be calling up Tony Adams and say, what, you know, how did other players at Arsenal play? How did other attackers at Arsenal play, or other number 10s that you played with? What was Bergkamp like? What attributes did you see from him? Could you get me into contact with him? Could he give me certain pointers? Like, I don't see how this is bad to go with somebody that is more successful than you within your field, and for you to just completely dismiss it is crazy. That's like 50 Cent linking up with Eminem and Dr. Dre and say, I'm not taking no tips. And all he's been doing is mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he didn't take the critique, then he wouldn't have Get Rich or Die Trying. He wouldn't have The Massacre. Like,
I just think we just got a much more sensitive generation now. And you'll see it just get more and more sensitive as the generations go by, innit? They're less able to take criticism. People just complain more. People just go crawl into their shells a lot quicker. Although we see that in many different aspects of life.
It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. I can't even lie. I don't really get the mentality. I get that you can't take on, like, I get his opinion to a degree in terms of like the positive and negative that comes his way, because even as you're a YouTuber, you've done it long enough. You can't listen to everyone. You have to be true to yourself. And you know that certain people, they just want to see you fall or wish the worst for you. So you have to be selective on what you absorb and what you allow in. But when you see somebody that's successful, that's trying to help you out, and is saying you're not, you know, you're not performing like a captain, why don't you just say, do you know what? I'm going to go out on that pitch and I'm going to show why Tony Adams is wrong to doubt me. You know, I'm going to put it right. Maybe I haven't been playing to the best of my ability, and I'm going to go out there and prove him wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can change people's opinions. That people's opinions isn't set in stone. I'm sure there's loads of people that didn't like you for whatever reason, that now is like, you know what? Lewis actually talks facts about the club. Do you know? I kind of like what he's saying. Do you know what I mean?
I've had so many of those conversations at football games. It's insane. Hundreds of those. I didn't like you at first, but you know what? You're all right. Yeah, we just had a conversation. That's it. You take Twitter too serious. All of that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. But it is what it is, man. Hopefully this guy holds bench now for Eze. And that's what I want him to just hold bench for Eze anyway. Let him be arrogant, because that arrogance is going to humble him real quick. But let's move to Chelsea. Obviously, you guys won against Fulham. I didn't get your thoughts. You guys two wins. What, 2 wins and a draw? You guys have had?
Yeah, 2 wins and a draw. And it's basically our preseason, so I'm pretty happy with that, in all honesty. But I didn't think we'd come into the season this rusty after the way we handled the AC Milan and Leverkusen games. But clearly it's a different intensity, and we learned that, I say the hard way, we just learned it, because I still think we've done relatively well over these 3 games. Like, we haven't lost any of them. We've only conceded 1 goal. And this is all with a team that I don't think is playing at 100%. And we still look really good going forward. We're still top or second place in the league in most of the attacking metrics for this season. And in terms of Fulham game, not a great first half at all. We were just like lucky to get into half-time in the lead. Second half, I thought we were a lot better, created a lot more chances. Ideally, could have scored more goals. And if anything, the second goal, maybe that probably wasn't a penalty. I don't know, but whatever. Referees are garbage. I've said it enough times, especially in games that we've lost or drawn. So I'm not going to complain when it actually works on my side for once. But I thought we did well from an attacking perspective. Enzo was the only real question mark in that game. Like, he's had a very bad start to the season, but people are already starting to do Enzo revisionism and like talk about him like he's a big liability to the team. He really isn't. He's just started the season slowly, and he'll get himself back up to speed. He always does this. Last season it was the same shit. Start the season horribly. By December, he patterned up and his performances had improved as well. But all in all, like, I'm very comfortable with where we are. We are like one key injury away from a big problem. Like, if we lose Tosin, it's long. If we lose Caicedo, it's long. If we lose Joao Pedro, it's long. But it hasn't happened yet. And as long as we keep those three fit, I think we've got a very good season ahead of ourselves. Palmer as well, we already know what the situation is, but I think we've taken the workload off him a little bit, so I'm not really as worried about him being injured as I would have been last season. I think Estevao, Joao Pedro, they're all doing their work to take the workload off him a bit more. And with that in mind, I don't really have to worry about him being out for that much. Well, that much, as long as it's not for any longer than a couple of weeks.
Now, I hear that. Listen, Joao Pedro, you're getting him ticking. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got the penalty as well. Enzo took that well, to be fair to him. But you're getting the performance, you're getting the wins anyway. Estevao, I'm expecting to see better. I feel like he does his. I think he takes on the fullback really well. He takes on players really well. He just needs to improve on the final pass and the final shot. But that will come as well.
Oh, he'll get that.
Yeah, we'll get there. I see a lot of ability in Estevao, man. What's your thoughts of Estevao?
Very, very impressed for someone who's like just stepped foot into England. I agree the end product will get better and doesn't really worry me. Nothing about his game worries me, and I think that's the best part about what I've seen so far. I think his IQ, like, even at this point, looks good. There's been some very good moments still. The dribbling, he's very strong on the ball. Not easy to push off, even for his frame. I think he's already registered the most dribbles completed in the league so far. And whenever he comes off the bench, he has a good impact. Whenever he starts, he seems to be having a good game. That's the perfect start I could have for him. I don't really need him to be registering GA to a mad level now. I just need to know that you can hang in the Premier League, and you've already shown me that. Now, as long as you refine your IQ just a little bit more, which I have no worries about you doing, because even for this age and for this level of experience in the Prem, I'm impressed. I think he's going to have a very good impact this season. Now, my hot take would be he should be winning Young Player of the Season by the end of the campaign. And I would be expecting that. I really would, for like someone of his potential. And for the start, like, I'd be expecting him to be in the running or win it at the end of the campaign.
Do you see him starting week in or week out, or to be rotated? I mean, where does he fit into the team? Because Dilap got injured, Cole Palmer's injured. I don't know when he's back. Do you put, you know what I mean? Obviously, Dilap being out, do you put Joao Pedro back up front and not in that kind of 10 role where you are playing him? You put Palmer there, and then do you keep Estevao on the right?
Either that, or you're playing Mark Hugh up top and Joao Pedro in the 10. And I don't think Maresca's going to trust him like that. But that's the only way you could like try and like imitate what Dilap would bring to the team. Because part of me still thinks he could give you a little bit of that off the ball. It's just on the ball, there's going to be a clear disparity in the level between the pair of them. But that's one thing. Or maybe you could keep it. But I think like as a strongest 11, Estevao still starts for me on the right side. I'd be so real. He's still starting for me. Like, my starting wingers are Neto and Estevao. That's why I'm so annoyed about the Garnacho transfer, because I think we wasted 40 mil on depth when we already have depth. I have Jamie Gittins. We didn't get Tyreek George sent to Fulham, so he's here now. We didn't need to waste 40 million when we had a goalkeeper or a centre-back that was a much bigger priority. So that going forward, I'm not worried. It's literally just the back line and in goal. Caicedo, obviously, because Asugo's out for a period as well. So now we don't have any Caicedo depth. But overall, on Chelsea's position, like, I'm very, very confident in terms of the squad. It's just we could have done a bit better in the window, because now we're 1 or 2 injuries away from having a problem.
Yeah, I hear that. I was surprised that you didn't address one of those 2 positions. You know what I mean? Especially the goalkeeper. Especially, like, I feel like that was a bit of a risk. Do you think you guys are going to address that in Jan, or wait till the summer?
Goalkeeper, not till the summer. Because I think we're going to get Mignon on a free. Because we'd only valued him at 12 million and a year left on his contract. I think the plan's going to be we go and take him on a free next year. And then we're waiting for the long-term plan, which is Mike Penders. And that's meant to be our long-term goalkeeper for the future. In terms of centre-back, I think it's going to be recalls. Like, we had Mamadou Sarr, who's at Strasbourg and played there last season. He would be the perfect player to slot in Levi Colwell's position until he's back from his ACL. But we already sent him back. The idea might be to recall him or to recall Anselmino. But this is why they're not putting the money down on a centre-back or a goalkeeper. It's because they believe they have better additions that are just developing and they want to incorporate them into the team within a year or two's time. Now, I don't like it because I want to win now. And I think you just make those transfers, we can win now and deal with it later, and we'll have better depth regardless of the situation. But on the same level, I do think that those players are going to be big players for Chelsea in the future too. So I don't mind that in the long term. I'm not worried about where Chelsea are as a club anymore, what our long-term future is going to be. Now it's solely short-term because I want to keep winning. We've just won 2 trophies. I'm feeling like the Chelsea of old for the first time in years. Keep it going. Keep winning trophies. And to do that, the depth's got to be solid. I don't rate the goalkeepers like that. The centre-backs are fine, but the Levi Colwill injury has just turned it into a big problem. Where I wouldn't have minded a couple months ago if we didn't get a centre-back. Now you kind of do, and you haven't done it. So if those injuries end up becoming a problem, then it's a problem that we've just put ourselves in. And that might impact what we do this season. But as a squad, we're capable of competing for everything. As a squad.
I hear that. Do you want to address this? Why has this guy got a wrestling belt over his shoulder?
World champions, bruv. 4 years, so we have to rub it in everybody's faces because they acted like our club was dead in 2022. Like, if you've got it, flaunt it because you never know when it's going to go. That's why I keep telling people. When I was in the Roman era, I thought we were the most comfortable team in England because we had a Russian oligarch who was never going to leave. And then the government literally stepped in and said, nope, and just took everything. Now, suddenly, thank God, our club is back where it should be. I'm celebrating it because everyone was dunking on our grave for the last 2 years. And now, shit, we world champions. People have to hold that. It is what it is.
That's it. Over £1 billion spent to be world champions, isn't it? They can't. The start is man. It's getting long. I can't lie. It's getting long for everyone. But there you go, man. There you go. I do want to say though, you guys did generate a lot of money in the summer for players. That's why I was surprised. Didn't you generate like over 200 M's in player sales?
And then we had the Club World Cup money as well. But the problem is we've been restricted by UEFA for the next 2 seasons or 2 summers, including this summer. So basically, you know how we had to pay fines to UEFA over some stuff in the Roman era? So one of the sanctions that we got was that our UEFA Conference League squads or our UEFA A-list squads, the sales made from that has to be higher than the transfers made into the team, or we can't register players into the Champions League, and we might have to face further sanctions as a result. That's why we've been moving a bit more broke. Not because we're not broke, we're restricted. So whatever sales we make, it has to be higher than the transfers that we bring into the team. And it's like that for this summer, and it's like that for the next summer. That's why I'm even more annoyed about the Garnacho transfer, because you had 40 million in funds. We don't have a lot that we can use, and you've burnt it on more left wing depth when I needed a centre back or a goalkeeper. That's why I'm so annoyed about the window. You have the money. We don't have a lot that we're allowed to spend. You've spent 90 million on left wingers that are not going to start in my strongest 11. And just the hope that one of them eventually does. I don't mind that with one. You get me one of Gittins or Garnacho, either one. I don't care. Do your thing. We lost Sancho and Mudryk. I don't need to replace Sancho and Mudryk. This is all some copium Chelsea fans have been trying to do. We had to replace Sancho and Mudryk. When did anyone say that Mudryk needed to be replaced? I said he needed to be sold, not replaced, because we already had other options there and he was never getting a minute. So Tyreek George is here. Gittins is here. Garnacho's here. Waste of funds. But that's why we're a bit restricted for this and next summer. And that's why we're also focusing more on younger players that could go into the squad next year instead. So
I completely understand that. Like, I completely understand that. I had the same thing with us buying Madueke, buying Norgard, buying Kepa, players that comfortably hold the bench, and players that if I have to rely on, I'm hella annoyed, and I'm not going into games confident. And I'm like, that for me, that's a waste of funds. At least get players that can actually challenge to get in the starting 11. Do you know what I mean? And there's some development there that you can actually, that's tangible, that you can say, okay, well, there's certain attributes I can see what they can bring to the team on a consistent basis, or a certain level that they can reach if they hit their potential, then they can actually get into the starting 11. But Garnacho, man, what do you think Garnacho's role is actually going to be at Chelsea? Because you guys do use a lot of players just to flip them. Do you think it's just going to be a flip, or is going to be like an impact sub?
It's got to be an impact sub because of the amount of money that we spent. I was saying I'd take Garnacho for 25, 30 million because I only saw him as a flip. But instead, we're thinking, I actually think he might be a sub player for us, which might be the best way to get something out of him. I was speaking with Saeed earlier about this, and he was saying like he got given too much responsibility at United too soon. And where he still just weren't good enough, he was a big reason for his own failures. And I'm not going to start drinking copium and pretending that everything else at United was his fault and not his. He also should have just been a depth player. And if he is just a depth player for us, maybe it works. Maybe you see a bit of success. I don't know to what level, because I look at him, I watch him as a player, and I've seen a lot of him at United. I'm not moved, but shouldn't be starting. Off the bench against tired legs, he might have something. He might be a decent option. Someone in transition, if you're 1-0 up in a game, you throw on Garnacho, might be able to stretch the defense a little bit. But I see him as a squad player until he shows me otherwise. And he has to be some sort of success here for Chelsea to make their money back. Because 40 million and a 10% sell-on clause, you're not flipping that unless he succeeds at Chelsea to some sort of extent. So you better do it. Like, I'll back him.
Does he though, Lewis? Because I've seen you man sell drink water. I've seen you man sell players that have been injured.
Drink water, we had to loan him till his contract expired. That was a horrible saga.
You saw Victor Moses, wasn't he like 35 or something, 34, 35 or something?
I don't remember where he went.
And you still got some money for him. Like, the point is, you guys always at least break even with your players.
I know, but like, I just don't know where unless he gets better, and he has to get better first. To what level? Don't know. Because the whole way through the saga, I've said I don't want him. I maintain he can get better, but I don't know to what level, and I have to see it first because the level I've seen at United is horrible. And if anyone like thinks that's a madness, I have seen the hashtag survived Garnacho going around on Twitter the entire international break. Anyone who's drinking copium, I implore you, put that hashtag in on Twitter and just go through the clips. Go through the clips and tell me that I'm being harsh. I'm not. He has to become a completely different player for me to like look at him and be like, okay, this is a good transfer. And he has to show that to me. Because I've seen shit.
I hear that. Pedro Neto, that was a player that I was like, you know what? He's got ability. But this guy does not show it on a consistent basis, bro. His crossing at times is horrendous. His shooting, horrendous. Like, his final and his decision-making as well at times. Like, I'm seeing him stop the ball, trying to do step over, then trying to take on the guy and taking too long to release the ball. Pedro Neto, bro, what's your thoughts on him? Because I can't lie, man. This guy looks very frustrated. I can't lie on that left-hand side.
Oh, he defo frustrating. Absolutely. But he has got better. He has got a lot better for us. So I think the transition game's improved with him. The decision-making has improved a little bit more. But I do think there's a bit of frustration in his game as well. But it's the same thing for all of our wingers. Like, Neto is the type that's always only going to be at his best when you're playing a more transitional game. So when you're playing more deep blocks, he does seem to struggle a bit more. He does seem to fall into the trap of aimless crosses. And he didn't see a lot of that in the Club World Cup. That's why it was so good. Neto in the Club World Cup, like that was an insane level of consistency that I haven't seen from him in a Chelsea shirt yet in the Premier League. But it does give me more promise for him. And I do think he's slowly improving. His decision-making is starting to improve. I think he's starting to look a little bit better on the ball as well. He just needs to improve his first touch. It's just his consistency within the 90.
Yeah.
But Pedro Neto, like, I'm not worried about. He's still going to start for us. He's still our best left winger, in spite of us buying 2 left wingers. So
there you go. Dilap, he actually started that game he started the game energetic. He was decent in pre-season as well. And then he gets injured. When's he back?
November, which is a real fucking ball ache. Especially seeing as it was as soon as Jackson stepped foot on the flight to Munich. I was saying all summer that I want Jackson to stay in the team and to be competition with Liam Dilap. Because he still gives me the exact same off the ball. On the ball, he's still good in terms of his link-up play too. He's just a horrid finisher. And he's not good with the offside trap. But I still think that there's a player there that can get better. He just got given too much too soon at Chelsea as well. Now we've lost him and we've lost Dilap. We've brought Mark Hugh back at least, but I just don't know if you're going to get the same attributes on the ball with him that you're going to get with Liam Dilap. And that's going to be a big loss for us over the next couple of weeks. Might just mean that we play a bit more pragmatic, but you're not going to see the best of Chelsea unless it's got Dilap and Pedro in the same team, I think.
I hear it. It's a shame, actually, because I was actually looking forward to see Dilap after his pre-season. I thought, yeah, he looks on it, man. He looks hungry. He looks like he's ready to affect the team, making good runs, also being quite physical, putting himself about. I was like, okay, let's see how good Dilap's gonna be. You know what I mean? But it's unfortunate. But you got Joao Pedro cooking. You know what I mean? Scoring headers again. What do you think about Joao Pedro, man?
Yo, the vibe that he's introduced me to from the start, like, it's insane. I haven't seen a player like change my perspective on them so quickly, like Joao Pedro has. Like, people say Cole Palmer, but like I watched enough of him when he was playing against us because we played City's B team like 3 separate times in 22-23. I knew there was a good player there anyway. Then you saw the Community Shield performance against you guys. We saw the Super Cup. He bagged in that game for City as well. There looked like there was a quality player that could turn up in big moments already. Joao Pedro, I'd seen a bit of him at Brighton, but not enough to be like really impressed. But the level that I've seen at Chelsea, it's like you're already a key player to us in a matter of weeks. In 1 week, you are a major part in us getting to the Club World Cup final and winning it. You've turned into a GNA magnet, and I never expected you to be. When he joined, that I could be quoted on my stream of saying, I'm not expecting a lot of goals from him. I'm not expecting a lot in terms of like open play. I'm just expecting him to be very progressive and a very good creator for us on the ball. And that's about it.
Yeah.
He can do that and the GNA, and he's a bully, and he's a shithouse. Like, it's an incredible, it looks like an incredible all-round player that we've got. And someone that looks like he could end the season, not going to say as top goal scorer, but as one of the highest goal contributors in the league. I think this is a guy that's constantly going to be involved in big moments for us, either in goals or with assists. So, like, the level that he's shown me, as long as he keeps it going this season, he's going to be one of the players of the season. He looks so fucking impressive. And it's, again, another statement to him that we're already at a point where if we lose Joao Pedro, we're fucked. Imagine saying that when we first joined for us, that we'd be in a position where we say we're fucked about Joao Pedro. People would think it was a bad thing. No, now it's a testament to how good he is. This brother is insane.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more impressed. And that's one where Clear Lake and the sporting directors, they deserve their flowers because they pulled that one out of nowhere. No one expected him to hit the ground running like this.
No, I absolutely agree. I think this is the thing, yeah, when we criticize our scouting departments of any club, you want to see your scouting department get it right over players that you think, are they really going to be a big impact in the team? Are they really going to be all of that? And bro, he was cooking preseason. I can't even lie. Joao Pedro's been cooking. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, he's dangerous on set pieces. His shooting, yeah, I'm saying, like the space, the intensity of his runs, the way he tries to link up, bro. I can't lie. I've been very impressed with Joao Pedro. I didn't expect it as a rival. I did not expect it, bro. Do you know what I mean? But that was a great signing by you, lot. I can't even lie. Great signing, bro.
So happy with that one because like we've spent years talking about baby Drogba as a joke. I look at him and it's like, yeah, it's not even funny. Like you are actually baby fucking Drogba. You're even good in the air. You've turned us into an aerial force. Like now we're good offensively at set pieces. And like the biggest thing has been bringing Dilap and Joao Pedro into the team because both of them are threats in the box and both of them are threats aerially too. Like we last season we were only good defensively from set pieces. This season now it's both. Now I look at us, I'm like, you get me a corner kick, I think we're making a big chance of it. I think our deliveries as a whole have got better, and that's why like I still think I'm confident Chelsea can compete on all four competitions because I think the quality and the IQ of the squad as a whole has just got better. And like bar centre back and goalkeeper, I think we've got some of the best like players in the league in nearly all aspects, like attack, midfield, fullbacks. I think we're up there with the best on all of those areas of the squad.
Nah, I hear that, man. I hear that. What about the move of you lot recalling back Nicholas Jackson?
I wish we never got rid of him because then we wouldn't have had to recall Mark Hugh. I think having Jackson would have been a great number 3 option for us because you're not really going to find a better number 3 out there than a Nicholas Jackson. With the same energy, I get why he doesn't want to stay as a number 3. You went from a number 1 to a number 3. Even if you're a number 2 for Bayern, you've got more opportunities there, and you've still got a great opportunity of winning trophies. So I get it. If anything, the high line, like fucking open season thing they do over in the Bundesliga suits him a lot better. You get much less low blocks. You get a lot more space. That suits him. So I get the Bayern move. I've got nothing against him for the move. I've got nothing against him for not wanting to come back because we agreed. We made an agreement. We said you can go to Bayern, and then we decided to try and take it back. I get why you said no. This is the best thing for your career. It is what it is. But I still would have rather kept him, and I still would rather keep him at the end of the summer too. Because I still don't think you're going to get a better number 3 than him. So it's sad the situation ended the way it is, but I get it from all sides. It suits Bayern the way it's worked out. It suits Chelsea the way it's worked out. It suits him.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to be his future then? Do you think after this Bayern loan deal, you think he's just gonna move on from Chelsea? Because like you said, you're going to put him as number 3.
Yep, he ain't going to stay at Bayern because we're going to demand the same amount next season that we asked this season, which is going to be around 60 to 80 million. They're not going to pay that unless Harry Kane leaves and he's really impressive to a point where they want to trust him next season. And I doubt that happens. So I think he comes back to Chelsea and he goes back somewhere else. If anything, I think we take Strasbourg striker, Emmanuel Omega. He's been linked with a couple of Prem clubs. I think he comes to Chelsea next season as a number 3. And Jackson ends up going.
I hear it.
I get why we did it. I was celebrating when we did it. Then he said he didn't want to come back, and I was like, "Damn it!" All right.
Of course he doesn't. He knows what time it is.
Yeah, but part of me was hoping like he just would listen and like he just come back because the club said it. But no, he was like, "Fuck this! No, I'm staying here. We had an agreement. Fine. I can't hate him for it. I'm not going to. But I wish he didn't have the bollocks to do that. I wish he was just a bit of a pussy and came back. I'm greedy, innit? Chelsea first.
I just think it was gangster of you lot to just be like, yeah, you're on the plane. Yeah. Spin the plane back round. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wanted to do it just because of his agent, because he was like, the plane never goes backwards. I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that, motherfucker. Get on the first plane back to London. Nah, but they stood on business. Fair enough. Enough.
That move was gangster. I can't even lie. I can't even lie about it. But yeah, man. What's your thought? I ain't even heard your thoughts about the Arsenal game against Liverpool. 1-0. What was your thoughts on that, man? What was your thoughts on Arsenal anyway? Liverpool, I got them winning the league, but what's your thoughts on Arsenal in that game?
I predicted 1-1, and I think it was too generous because I didn't think anyone was scoring in that game. I'm not surprised it went down to a set piece because it was only ever going to be that way for either side. But fuck me, what a horrible watch. That was such a dead hate watch. And you know the baddest thing is I like doing hate watches for Arsenal just because of how funny it is when you guys don't win. But it's a drag sitting through it, win or loss. Even when you're losing, it's like, yeah, can we just get to full time? This is fucking horrible. It's so shit to watch. But the way you look set up with the lineup, it looked like you guys are playing for a draw. I've seen the likes of Mourinho do it multiple times, so I'm not even really as critical of the idea of setting up defensively minded first, but you always have to play with an outlet. Like, I criticize people who are overly defensive and they don't play with an outlet. Like, I'll take you back to a game. I think it was we lost 1-0 to City when they were Centurions at the Bridge. And we were cooking them, and then Morata came off injured. And instead of bringing on a striker, we brought on Willian. And then we played 3-5-2 with Willian and Hazard. No focal point. All of our attacks just went out to die. And then we just kept recycling the ball. And we eventually concede because we give up too much pressure. That's what you do when you don't really have good outlets. Your outlets was Marino playing the ball into Martinelli. And it's like, Zubimendi is getting dominated in the midfield. Martinelli is straight garbage. I don't get why we're still trying with him in 2025. Gyökeres looks exactly like I thought he would look like in the Premier League, which is only does well against the teams lower in the table, but I think he can be handled pretty easily because I don't think you've got enough creativity and open play for him to be a consistent threat in game. So, like, I don't think he's going to have a great season. I think he'll do, like, over somewhere between 12 to 15 goals in the league, but I don't think that's going to be racked up as a good season for him. And Noni, I thought he did decent. But the fact that he was your best forward is an indictment. That's not a good thing. Because I thought Noni did well to, like, beat Kirkes, but he didn't really do anything after that point. Partly because, like, either he made the wrong choice or because Kirkes recovered well. I think Kirkes at least had good recovery in that match. But if that's your way of playing away at Big Six teams, you're not going to be getting a lot of wins away at Big Six teams unless you dominate with the corners, and you lot didn't do that. It was just a really horrid watch and just you trying to cancel yourselves out.
I mean, I agree with everything you just said. Martinelli as well, going up against a number 10 playing as a fullback, and you still can't beat him. You still can't impact the game. Just shows exactly where his career's at. But do you see any evolution tactically of this Arsenal team now that we've got Eze, we've got Dalman coming through, Ethan, we've got Gyökeres. We've got a lot of attacking reinforcements coming through, some from the academy, some we brought in. Do you see anything different tactically? Because that's what I've been getting on to people like Gal that's still holding on faith that we can do something. What do you make of Arsenal? Like, do you feel like we're on a decline and you're on the rise, or you think that we're still on the rise? Like,
oh, I absolutely think we're on the rise, and you guys don't know if it's a decline or a stagnation. But a stagnation for a long period of time might as well be a decline. So I guess you might as well just call it that. Use an interesting word in terms of the evolution of Arteta. I would say deformation. I think that would be a better word because I see the opposite of an evolution in terms of Arteta and his brand of football, because your best football, and I've maintained this, was 22-23. I think a lot of people would agree with that. And all I've seen is it get worse. Have a nice little purple patch comeback at the start of 23-24. You did do your thing towards the second half of the campaign. There was a lot of like very good performances, very high scoring victories. But then you went straight back to just the same slow, timid football afterwards for the entirety of last season. So for me, I'd say it's kind of gone backwards. It's kind of regressed. It's kind of deformed a little bit. Because you went from playing your best brand of football to just being this. A defensively minded side relying on set pieces. This is not a phase. That's the sort of thing I'd see an interim manager doing when he's just trying to grind results out towards the end of a season. Not someone in phase 5 in August going for a league. But this is all we know about Arteta. We're not saying anything that we don't know. There's just still a few Arsenal fans still sniffing copium. I was watching your stream of Igal where he was talking about how the Madueke transfer is now easier to deal with because you got in Gyökeres and Eze. And I was just... The first thing that came back to my head was that Madueke stream where he was screaming into his camera going, why? Why? Why are we going in for Noni? A proper crash out, even by Igal standards, a mad crash out. Like, what? I don't get it. But Garnacho, I'm not sitting here saying this is an easy transfer to stomach. No. I said what would make it easy to deal with. 25 to 30 million. Because that's very easy money to make back. And that's just telling me he's not an important part of the squad and he's someone that you can easily flip. You've got him for 40 million. Now he has to do well. Now he has to be a success at Chelsea. Otherwise, you're not making that money back. So, it's not copium. You have to improve. I don't think Madueke's improved at Arsenal. I've never thought he was shit at Chelsea, but I thought he was someone who was good at take-ons, frustrating with his end product. All in all, he leaves you wanting more because he doesn't give you enough on the pitch. And you get some good performances and some shit performances. That's exactly what I've seen from Noni at Arsenal. The same thing. So, I don't think it's an improvement. I don't think your front line's really improved that well because Eze's primarily a 10. And you still need a left winger. If Martinelli's going to be starting every week, I don't see you lot winning the league. But this is the team that you guys set up in phase 5.
I swear down. This is what I've been saying, man. I agree with you. I just think it's all copium. I've heard the excuses from Miguel. Pre-season, we wasn't playing the brand of football we're going to implement, the new tactics we're going to implement this season. In the last 3 games, we got away with it against Man United. Leeds, I'm expecting us to beat Leeds just because player for player we're better. And then we go up against Liverpool, and it wasn't even a Liverpool that played extremely well. They didn't have to. They didn't have to play really well. And as much as Igal wants to talk about us nullifying their attack, we offered nothing but nullifying their attack. Literally, in open play. We nullified their attack with no plan to actually win the game. And I think that is a disgrace within itself because then you are playing for a draw. You're playing to nullify them and nothing else. You're not trying to put them under pressure. Yes, there was times we were attacking them, but then that goes back down to the lineup. I don't want Martinelli at the end of opportunities. I don't want Moreno in the 10. I don't want Madueke on the right wing because these are not players that are good enough to get us over the line and produce week in, week out and make the most out of the opportunities and bring Gyökeres back into the game. For Gyökeres, I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of good runs from Gyökeres, but I see a lot of frustration. Lewis, you've played football. If you've ever played as a striker and you don't feed the striker, eventually the striker's like, what's the point? What's the point of me making runs if you're not going to find me?
I have the same feeling on pro clubs. I get it. You play up top and the fuck is just passing backwards. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's the thing. So it's like, it's natural, bro. When you're not going to receive the ball, you stop trying as hard because you're like, well, I keep making runs and you keep not finding me. And every time I get in myself, I'm finding space. The striker wants to drop a shoulder, lose the defender and run into space. You got a couple of seconds to release the ball by the time that Konate closes down the angle. By the time he receives the ball, he either doesn't receive the ball by Martinelli or it's too late. Bro, I can't ask any more from Gyökeres because it's like he's putting himself in good attacking positions and not receiving the ball. It's not something I can critique him. Now, if he's getting service and he's not putting the ball in the back of the net, then I'll look at him and say, well, you're not doing your job. We're providing you opportunities. And you know what the biggest thing that I can't accept from this manager is last season it was the whole thing about, oh, we don't have a bench. The bench is broken. I remember last season, you remember when I spoke to you, I told you the bench, we had way too many defensive players on that bench and not enough game changers. Bro, the manager bought Eze because of his vision and his passing in the final third. Why are you not bringing him in a lot early? Why are you not starting him? Do you know what I mean? When Odegaard got injured in the season last season, We were playing Trossard in the 10. We were playing DMs in the 10. We played everybody before we went to Ethan. So I'm seeing a repeat of mistakes. Now that you've got players that can impact the game, you're not using them. But when you had Ethan last season that was coming off the bench with 10 minutes to go, he was impacting games and you weren't utilizing him. So I'm just seeing this manager repeat the same mistakes. But now you have Skelly that's creative. You've got Ethan. You've got Dalman. You've got Eze. There's multiple players off the bench that can affect the game, like the Liverpool game. And for the fact that he waits to the 70th minute, bringing Dalman on the 89th minute, I always say, like, Palmer left City to go to Chelsea because you guys gave him a platform to shine. Why are we not giving certain players platforms to shine? Because this whole fan base loved Skelly, but we gave him the platform to shine. We allowed him to play games last season based on performances, but now Dalman can't start because he's too young. Oh, Ethan can't start because he's too young. But where was that narrative for Saka and Skelly? Where was that? Because age didn't come into that when those two are playing well. I don't get it, bro.
It's mad, like, when you're an academy player, you just never really get given like the same amount of trust as a transfer. I feel like a transfer has to be shown to be worth the money, whereas the academy player, they are the money. They're the ones that are getting sold for pure profit. So they're not really getting the opportunities like that unless there's an injury crisis that kind of permits it. I've seen it happen enough times. Like, I'm lucky that we had the transfer ban so we could push through so many young players. But I'd even be worried about the likes of Reece James and a Mason Mount back in that time of even getting those minutes to begin with. Like Andreas Christensen, we brought him in from our academy. He only got regular starts because David Luiz fell out with Antonio Conte. Tyreek George, who's getting minutes just based off, like, I think injury issues that we were having at the time. And then he was just getting scraps off the bench. And then he was playing in the middle for some minutes at the end of last season because Jackson got suspended. Like, you just don't see academy players get given those minutes a lot. You really don't. Unless, like, there's a lot of problems around the club at that time.
This is the thing. When Arsenal fans... Because a gal said this to me. Oh, but why? But we need to protect. He's young. We need to protect him. I said, okay, well, why didn't we go out there and buy better wingers? Why didn't we get better than Madueke? Why didn't we move on Martinelli to go out there and get a Lookman, for example? Why didn't we move on Trossard? The reason I'm looking at the academy players is because the academy players, some of them are better than players that we spent money on. Skelly's better than Calafiori. Sounds like a recruitment issue to me. Dalman is better already than Madueke. He can take on players. He doesn't need a number 10. Yes, he needs to improve on his finishing. But overall, he gets us penalties. He draws defenders out of position. He's a nuisance, bro. A constant nuisance all game. So it's like, if I'm relying on academy, it's because the scouting department overall are buying players that are inferior, that are not going to level us up. Madueke was not a level up to Trossard or Martinelli. It wasn't a level. It's much of a muchness. It's thereabouts. It's not an upgrade. Calafiori is not an upgrade on Skelly that came through the academy. And that is why we're looking at Ethan is better than Odegaard, that's the captain. He scores, he's scoring on a more regular basis. He's been playing better for the last year. He's more direct than Odegaard. He releases the ball quicker. He finds the centre forward quicker. So if we're relying on youngsters, it's not because I wanted to rely on youngsters. It's because we didn't buy the right players. There were better players available, or there are players that shouldn't be in the team. Odegaard's, that armband is protecting him, bro. He's been rubbish for how long?
Yo, like, he ain't been standout since end of 23-24, I'd say. That was when he really looked good. Nearly 2 years ago.
I honestly don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, we will see. We will see. Who have you got? Who have you got for the top four? Like right now, as it stands, who have you got for the top four?
Right now, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City. That's my top four. Man City, they haven't shown me any change from last season. And like, they look so easy to deal with out of possession that I think a lot of teams can still give them the same problems that they did last season until like the likes of Rodri start getting into shape and everything. So I don't think they're going to have a good campaign. you guys aren't going to have a good campaign by your standards. And I think for Chelsea, we're on the up. And I think we can get top 2. That's like my minimum expectation would be top 3. But I think we're capable of second. And Liverpool's still favourites. They'll still end up winning the league regardless. I don't know to what level. I don't know if they just piss the league. But I think they end up winning the league regardless.
So I mean, bro, like, it's what I mean. Like, we haven't taken advantage, yeah? When Liverpool fell off a bit, we didn't take advantage. When City are falling off, we haven't taken advantage. Now we're allowing Chelsea to get back strong. You know what I'm saying? We're allowing City to, you know, continue their rebuild and phase out certain players that are from the previous era. It's like we never maximize when we're on the up. It's like we get into the Champions League spots and then we stagnate, bro. Like, to go against Liverpool and see that Konate wasn't playing well, seeing that Szoboszlai was playing as a right back and not go for it, just shows me everything about this manager. You know, Hussam said it best. He's a must not lose manager other than a must win manager. And that is what I've seen about this manager, bro. I just can't wait for him to go, Lewis, man. But then again, I don't trust the Cronkies to go out there and get a winner, bro. I don't trust them. I know they got Unai, but it's like there was more reason to back Unai than to back this manager. Yet the manager that actually had a CV wasn't backed. I just don't see it. Like, there's been so many managers that we could have went out and got and tried to get at least. Like, we could have tried to get Hansi Flick. We could have got Ancelotti when he went before he went Everton. We could have tried and got Conte before him going to Spurs. Like, there's so many managers that we could have went out there and got and given this level of backing. That this is what like makes me just feel like, bro, like we can never get it right. We spend money. Like, I can't fault this club for spending money. Like, the Cronkies give the manager money, but you gave it to the wrong manager. Can you just please get me a proven winner and give him the same level of backing, please? That's all I'm asking for. I'm not even saying within the next 6 years, spend more than what we spent on Arteta. Just give a proven manager with a CV that knows how to get over the line this level of backing. And I believe we win way more trophies.
I hear it, but I've never seen you do it either. I've always seen you do the project thing. So I wouldn't be shocked if like that's just what you continue with. The fact that Emery like got sacked so soon says to me Emery must have been on a different sort of vibe to the likes of Arsene Wenger and to the likes of Mikel Arteta. So there's something that Emery has that the other two doesn't, that they don't like. And maybe it is just like less patience. Maybe it is like the push for more money to get spent. Maybe it's a difference of mindset or something. Where they clearly like the way Arteta's like behind the scenes. And they're fine with him just being in the top 4, which I've always said, like, that's what I've known Arsenal to be. I've known Arsenal to be a team that just wants to be in the Champions League, stay within the top 4, win a domestic here or there, and then keep the finances at a good level. So part of me can't shake the fact that that's all I really know Arsenal to be. That's all I've ever known them to be as a football fan.
I don't know, man. Listen, you're just lucky. Do you remember when everyone was saying, Chelsea's spending all this money? What are you lot doing with all these youngsters? You lot got so many players that are not even registered out on loan. I told you, I was like, listen, don't let your club lose the standards, because you've seen Arsenal in the dumps trying to get the standards back. Man United in the dumps trying to get the standards back. Bro, once you lose it, you know what I mean? And you guys have regained it, you know what I mean? Just in time. The rot didn't set in, because once that rot sets in proper, it's difficult to get rid of it. You know what I mean? You've seen we're already within your fan base. Some of them were already like, oh, you know, Lampard wasn't a bad manager. Oh, making excuses.
The Poch season. Yeesh. I've never been so embarrassed by Chelsea as a fan base than the Poch season. That was incredible. But at least now we've won a major honor. It feels like a lot of what we're doing has a bit of vindication. Like, I'm even more patient with the long-term future, because I don't mind the whole flip model. You just have to give me a team that's capable of winning on all fronts and bring me trophies on top. And you've done that. So keep buying young players, keep flipping it as long as you want. I don't care. As long as the team can go for the league title and the team wins trophies, It's working. That's fine by me. I didn't even have a problem with it like during the build-up. I kept saying the Poch season was just a year wasted. You wasted an entire year of the project and gave everyone an entire year to shit on the club without us even having a chance to respond. Because you're hiring a shit manager to work with a group of young players like that's ever going to work. It's never going to work. Now we look in a much more stable position. You just need to make one or two of the right signings, and then we got one of the best teams in Europe already. Now it's just even more solid.
Do you know what the difference is between a pretender and a top manager? Your performance against PSG. That's when I literally looked at Maresca and said, you know what, this guy is actually a top manager. Yeah, I'm saying he's actually a top manager. To set up the way you did against PSG and to nullify them and bully them the way that you did, even with a team that have players that are inexperienced, even within a team that is still, they're not the favorites of the Premier League. For you lot to go up like that against the Champions League holders and perform like that, I can't lie. That was extremely impressive. And that is the difference between Maresca and Arteta. Because what did we do? What was our game plan against PSG? Long throw-ins. Look at the way that you guys, your midfield, absolutely bullied PSG. They couldn't even string 3 passes together. Normally, they're bopping it around, movement everywhere. You nullified it all. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that is the difference between a top manager. It's not just about personnel. This is the thing that I hate about Arsenal fans. Everything is personnel. Oh, but we need that player. We need this ingredient. No. Top managers make themselves the difference maker. Yeah, people talk about squads and everything, but the difference maker could be a manager. Why did Lampard not say that your squad was too young to win something? And then Tuchel goes in, practically same squad, wins something, wins a Champions League. Because of the manager.
You see why when Maresca was going for a bad patch, everyone was saying keep the same energy. I was like, bun the same energy. I know what I'm watching with Enzo Maresca, and I know this is a coach that I will give time and I will give patience to, because I see him improving players all across the pitch. I see him making tweaks in game. I saw us get bad defensively, and then we ended up dropping our defensive line, improving our offside trap, and having one of the best defenses in the league in 2025. This guy literally came out in the press conference before the PSG game, was asked whether we're going to suffer without the ball, said, who said we're suffering off the ball, and proceeded to drop one of the greatest Chelsea performances I've ever watched as a fan. Ever. Like, in terms of consistency, in terms of dominance, in terms of the level of the opposition that we played and the importance of the match that we played, that is one of the greatest Chelsea performances I have ever watched as a football fan. And that was produced by Enzo Maresca. We've picked the right coach. We got the right midfield. We've got a forward line that's so close to being perfect. Fullbacks are the best in Europe at this point. It's the centre-backs and the goalkeepers. You pattern those and we've got the best squad in Europe, just like that. Just like that. And that's been all built through the flip model. That's why I don't mind the money that we've spent. We've spent the money for a squad that is quality and speaks for itself. We've got trophies that now speak for themselves. Just sort out 1 or 2 areas. And then we're going to have even more trophies that will do even more talking. Suddenly, all the Clear Lake talk and everything will just turn into apologies. Just into apologies.
That's what I'm saying. And this fan base will talk about, we got the best centre-back pairing in Europe and stuff. You man played Kowo and Chalobah. You put Reece James in the midfield. When we start putting players out of certain positions, what do we get? We get Zinchenko stinking it out at left back. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what we get. We have Partey at right back. It's mad, bro. Like, your performance against PSG, bro, like that was a bad boy performance, bro. And this is the thing that I hate about Arteta, bro. He doesn't have a game plan that can, he doesn't know how to set up, to beat an opposition like that in a must-win game. I've never seen it. Must-win game. Doesn't do it. Doesn't know how to utilize his team. So it's like, bro, this manager will never be the difference maker. And Maresca, he was the difference maker against PSG. He got you over the line. Yes, the players played well, but he set you up correctly. He got the right game plan. 3-0 in a final against PSG. A team
it could have been 5 by half time.
Come on, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro.
Fucking
Nullifying that whole
incredible,
team.
mate.
This is what I mean, bro. This is why Arteta is always going to be a pretender to me, bro. Because I've not seen anything to be like, yeah. Arteta's got the tactical nous to outdo somebody like Enrique and a manager. Like Enrique looked lost, bro. He was stressed.
Bro, I saw Kvaratskhelia, a player that I've said is the closest thing I've seen to Hazard since he left Chelsea. I saw him get locked up by Malo Gusto, who's probably the worst outfield player that we had last season in terms of performances. The worst. And he locked him up with ease. Didn't even notice him in game. And he was still causing Nuno Mendes problems on the attacking side as well. Like, whatever Maresca did for that Chelsea team, it's some of the best football I've ever watched. Ever. That shit was fucking incredible.
This is what I'm saying. Maresca's a sick cup manager. Well, this is what I'm saying. So is Unai Emery. We was in the Europa League. We had the specialist there. He got a team that needed to be rebuilt to a final. Why the fuck would you not back him? Why would you not give him the funds? This is what I'm saying about Arsenal being backwards. Why would you not? This fan base always talk about league position. Okay, cool. League position. This manager's been getting second for 3 years in a row. What that we won it. If you're just a cup manager, cool. But guess what? I've never won the Europa League, so win it for me. And if you get somebody that's a specialist within a certain cup competition, back him so he has what he needs to get over the line. But we just do it backwards. We get a non-specialist at winning anything. We back him and then keep giving him, I don't know. Apparently, there was some emergency talk between Josh Kroenke and Arteta. I take it with a pinch of salt, bro. I take it with a pinch of salt. These men didn't need to give him a contract renewal last season. A manager's got a year left in his contract. That is the perfect incentive to say, you will not get a renewal past this season if you don't win a major honor. That is the perfect incentive, bro. Because you're managing and you're playing for your life. That is the best incentive. But what do? Give you a contract renewal. And now you want to be putting the pressure on the manager where he can say, okay, well, guess what? You want to sack me? Buy me out my contract. Because I'm going to win. Regardless, I win because I'm getting the payout. Like,
you give him that, you tell him it's a reward. Like he's done something for that.
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. But listen, big up to everyone that's locked in, man. Lewis, for anyone that lives under a rock, shout your channel out, bro, and what you got coming up next, bro.
Yo, Carefree Lewis G, Chelsea Fan TV on all socials. You already know what it is. Should be something out tomorrow. And then we right back into the Premier League football. We got a Brentford preview. We've got a whole Super Saturday of watch-alongs lined up because I'm not going to the Brentford game. And then we're off to Munich. Off to where it all began. Number one, man. Champions League football back. I can't wait for it, bro. But great to be back on here. Shout out to the community. Shout out to everyone locked in. And up the Chelsea. World champs.
Listen, it is what it is, man. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to Carefree Lewis G. Make sure you're supporting my guy. And yeah, man, we'll be back. Hopefully later on, I'll do a late live stream. Might just do a call-in show. A big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. The link to Lewis's channel is in the title. So make sure you're liking and subscribing. We're going to redirect to Normski TV. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Northside raid on the way in, and we're out. Love.